Hello, YouTube Gallifrey here, and welcome to a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the first episode of Series 4 of Sherlock, The Six Thatchers. And yes, this is the first video on my channel, which isn't a review to something other than Doctor Who, and the first video of 2017. Yesterday, Sherlock came back with a bang on BBC One with this episode, The Six Thatchers. Now, when I read the synopsis for this episode, it did seem a little strange, and everything written by Mark Gatiss is very strange. Such as some of the Doctor Who episodes he's written, Sleep No More, The Crimson Horror, they've all been very strange. And yeah, this episode was a very strange episode of Sherlock and a very weird idea. But yes, Sherlock did come back with a bang with explosions, shoot-offs, fights. The swimming pool fight in this episode was amazing, one of the best Sherlock scenes ever. The fight scene between Sherlock and AJ was superb. So the Six Thatchers, what was it about? It's about this guy going around smashing statues of the first woman Prime Minister. Why? Because this spy called AJ had put his memory chip inside one of these busts, and he was going around smashing them all so he could find it and take down John Watson's wife. And yes, in this episode we learn a lot more about her. And please turn off this video now if you don't want to hear a big spoiler. She died. So yes, this split Sherlock and John very much, because John of course turned on Sherlock because he thought it was Sherlock's fault. And yeah, in this episode, John starts to have an affair with this woman on the bus, and he has a child, and Sherlock becomes the godfather, and he's tweeting during the ceremony. And yes, it's very funny as well. There's a lot of funny moments in this episode of Sherlock, and of course, like all episodes of Sherlock, it's clever and complicated. All episodes of Sherlock have a very clever conclusion, but yet are very complicated to understand. After this episode broadcast, a lot of fans were going, I don't understand this. And yeah, I didn't understand it on the first watch, but then I watched it again and looked it up, and yeah, understood it, and it's a very good idea. I think it's a very strange and creative idea, which I haven't done before in Sherlock. And no, I don't think this is the last series of Sherlock, seeing as I went on Wikipedia, and yeah, Wikipedia, it could be fake, and yeah, it did say Benedict Cumberbatch has signed for 5 series, not 5 more series, but he's signed up until series 5, so hopefully there'll be a 5th series. So yes, this episode opened with Sherlock arriving back on the plane and going into a confidential room where there's agents from the government discussing how Moriarty has come back. But it turns out, after 3 years' wait, and loads of Sherlock fans coming up with theories, that Moriarty is no longer alive. It was a pre-recorded message. Why did they do that? They could have come up with a really good idea of how Moriarty survived. But yet, Stephen Moffat finally killed off a character. Hooray, but he's probably not dead. I reckon he will return by the end of series 4. I can just see it coming. So yes, it turns out Moriarty pre-recorded the message, the Miss Me message, and yeah, is dead, and he's pre-planned something for Sherlock to take him down once and for all. What will it be? It'll probably be in episode 2 of Sherlock, The Lying Detective. And yes, this episode didn't really set up a story arc, I don't think. It just basically, in this episode, we basically found out how Moriarty died or survived, and that Moriarty thing, and we learnt more about Accra and Ammo, which I won't spoil on really, seeing as this is sort of a spoiler-free review, but yet with quite a few spoilers. So yes, a very complicated and clever episode with lots of good and funny moments, but also some very complicated moments and some very pointless moments. And yeah, I don't think we got much character reintroduction in this episode. We really did just get right in there with the action in this episode, which I found good, but we could have had more reintroduction to all the characters. And yeah, there was a really good shock twist at the end of this episode, seeing as that little old lady, spoiler alert, turned out to be behind ammo. So yes, that is the end of my review. Please stay tuned for my next video, which is my 2017 scheduling video, as well as 2 other videos coming up next week, which are my Sherlock episode 2 review on the Lying Detective, and my missing episode, Discovery. Stay tuned for that. Until the next time, goodbye.